Pretty awesome.
Enjoy
Nice.
one of my favorite refreshments, kombucha, which has favorite
Awesome.
discovery. Big shout out to Cove Kombucha. This flavor, mango turmeric, brewed right here in Halifax.
Basically, this is the update that would have happened a few days ago, but that's okay. It's a little bit late. So this is the update basically on the first week. So that would have been from Thursday, April 1st till Wednesday, April 7th. So you went through one weekend and Easter.
Yes.
So how did that week go? Like, what was going on?
It was really interesting, more difficult than I expected. In a social way, I found that was the big thing. Just hanging out at home with my husband, chilling out. You know, we don't do a lot of casual drinking. So you're kind of just hanging out with. But I went over to another couple's house, and I found they were all drinking, and me not drinking was quite a weird feeling. Almost like socially, it was like one of these things is not like the others. And that's a feeling. So that was definitely something new for me. But other than that, I mean, it's been a difficult couple of weeks in my life. I kind of hinted at that earlier on when we were late with the stream. So I found more than the holidays and the weekend, the casualness of having like a glass of wine to relax, especially with a lot of life stress, has been the most difficult part, because it's just something you don't even really think about when alcohol is not necessarily a problem. It's just maybe more of a habit that you use in a relaxation kind of way.
Yes, definitely. And I think a lot of people would say that. It's more of like, it's just what you do when you're out with people, and it's a way to relax, and it's a treat. Is how most people view it. I no longer view it that way, but that took a lot of work. But I know a lot of people see it that way. So yeah, that makes things extra hard when you're brand new at it. Yeah.
That was one big thing I really wanted to ask you and get your advice on is in situations, this has been an extraordinarily difficult couple of weeks for me. I don't foresee, a mountain of things happening. It's been 4 or 5 large, big life-changing things happening in a couple of weeks. When big stressors, say even just one big stressor comes up, how would you suggest people who would normally, even just like me, casually rely on something like that or use it as a relaxation? What are some of the tips and tricks that you use that don't involve the consumption of alcohol?
Yeah, and it took me a long time to figure this out, because you're supposed to have things already in place so that when bad things happen, you have something to fall back on. I don't know, like you already have a meditation practice or a yoga practice, or you hang out with your kids, or you do something. But I didn't have anything pre-planned, so there we go. Sorry, that just skipped out. Yeah. Yeah, that would be my number one thing, is just like pre-plan. So have something in place to de-stress that wouldn't involve drinking. I mean, there's so many different options, but like think about it beforehand. And other than that, supportive friends would be huge. Friends who are already supportive and who already know that you're taking time off, to reach out to them. And that's something I didn't really think of doing. But when I did, I was so thankful I did. I always just assumed everyone else is going to want to drink. They're not going to want to hang out with me because I'm sober, but no, like people will surprise you. So really that's all I had to do was reach out to supportive friends, and they'd be like, okay, cool, let's just go for a hike or whatever and talk it out. So that was super helpful. Other than that, like if you don't have another human, I would say journaling is huge, to get it out. And there's something like about putting pen to paper rather than in your phone. Like it helps to release stuff and to work things out. I find that to be really helpful, and just to be gentle with yourself and remind yourself why you're taking the break. So I don't know, you made a promise to yourself is a good reminder. Like, okay, I did promise myself these 30, 31 days. So if I break that promise, I'm going to feel like shit. So, or, I'm doing it for detox reasons or doing it for whatever. So remind yourself of the reasons why so that you stick with it. But specifically through hard times, yeah, friends and being gentle on yourself and finding other ways to cope, really. So did you find other ways to cope?
Kind of trying to talk it out with friends, but it is new to me, you know, and it's interesting because we had this conversation when we did the first video that I'm not trying to deal with problem drinking or any sort of addiction. It's more of a casual, I just wanted to see how I would feel taking a break from
Yeah.
it. So it's interesting when you don't feel like it's a problem, but that it could potentially be a bit of a solution, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so trying to reach out to people and stuff, but no, more so like, yeah, like the looking forward to having this conversation to try to get some tips and stuff, because especially things like journaling, I've like never given them a chance.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to
Yeah, that's
start journaling.
with journal. Yeah, there's so many different ways you can go at it too. With like journal prompts or whatever. And like people say you should do it every day or whatever. I only do it whenever there's bad stuff happening in my life. I don't know. I should probably be better at that. But I find it's easiest to just write out facts. And there's so many perspectives, but like I would write out facts, I would write out fears, and then I would start to like look at a paragraph for each one to explain it. I'm afraid of the situation, and then I would then like let myself be emotional and then look at it from a different way, like in a logical way, and then pick it apart really and just be like, okay, so I have this fear, but then try to find the origin of it or try to figure out logically, is it an actual fear or is it, is it bogus? Like, just to try to pick things apart and be analytical with it. That's one way to do it. But there's other ways like stream of consciousness where you just write and don't even think. That could help too. It depends on like where you're at and what type helps
Yeah, I
you.
guess you know what, that would be something I'd have to look more into, because I'm not super introspective. I'm like the first person to admit that I don't tend to like analyze my thoughts or double, like I worry about things like everybody else does, but I don't tend to like, yeah, want to do things like journaling and stuff like that. Although you hear so many people talk about how helpful it is once you figure out kind of the right lane for you, because sometimes I feel like right now, and it's not a great way to think of it, but it feels kind of silly, like I'm talking to myself in a book.
I know what you mean. Totally. I felt like that in the beginning too. And I still sort of feel like that sometimes. And yeah, I wasn't that type of person to like listen to my inside voice ever. I never did. I would always drink it away because it would be too much. I just didn't want to know what was going on inside my head. But I know you're different than that, but still, like I think I might have been the extreme version of that. But I know a lot of people, yeah, they're just like, I don't know, I'm good. I don't need to like dig into stuff. Like, I don't need to. But I find it's helpful sometimes, especially when tough times come up. Then you can get through it in a different way.
Totally. So I think now that hold on one sec, I'm gonna have a sneezing attack here, and I'm gonna try to hold it in the live video. I can't.
Okay, that's fine.
Now that the dust hasn't necessarily settled, but it's settled.
Yeah.
So what would be kind of your next advice? Do you think that maybe, and there's lots of people, wondering, kind of thinking about the same things. Is there a resource or something that you'd want to maybe like share with people on sort of stuff like journaling? I'd be curious, like, where did you first get information that made you just kind of feel like that was the right avenue to go down?
Yeah. Well, honestly, through therapy, a few of my therapists had mentioned that, and I'm like, okay, but how? So I Googled it.
Okay.
And
Google, right?
yeah, that's, oh my God, for almost everything. Also on the sobercity.ca website, I made a blog post and I can't remember the exact title, but it's basically like a sobriety toolkit. And I mean, there is some resources in there, I believe, around journaling, but there's a big list of all different things that you can, rely on, like self-care stuff or things that you should do for when tough times come up. But I mean, it's more geared towards people who are in recovery, but there's still a lot of really good information there for people who just want to break every once in a while when they don't have an issue with it, like in the same
Coming
way.
up after the stream, we'll share like some links and stuff, you know, because I know you've got so many great resources on there, and I've been using it and kind of like just trying to educate myself in a different way, because everything in the world is such a scope that, you know, you feel like you're on this side of the drinking and I feel like I'm on this side of the drinking, and everybody watching right now and everybody who's going to watch after is in a completely different place. And yet I do feel like the tools that you're offering and the resources and stuff are just as practical for somebody on this side as somebody on this side and everybody in between.
Good, good. Because that's when I first started Sober City, I was like, what avenue do I go? My world is recovery, but I know that that's a small minority of us. So the majority of people, yeah, it's a spectrum. Most people are, you know, somewhere in the middle or like more on the lower end, like you are, but I don't know that world. So how can I write about it when I don't know that world? So that's how Silver City has evolved over the past year and a half by trying to bring in more stories like yours, because you're the majority, really.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
That's what I was
It's
hoping.
interesting to have that conversation, because although I do feel like I'm not in a problematic drinking realm, little things that you'll say will give me those little, you know, like when you just said you just would sometimes not want to feel things and you just shut it off with that. I think everybody has had that. There's not a single person on the planet who hasn't had a drop of alcohol at some point in their life to forget something.
Yeah, exactly.
That person doesn't exist. We've all done it at least once, and that's a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I mean, who knows if it's down to DNA? I mean, but either way, like you could just go your whole life with just like, wanting to numb out sometimes, relax, whatever. But some people, like me, that will evolve over the years until it becomes a big thing, and then it's like a thing that you need to quit forever, you know? So yes, some people you just don't, so it might as well just be preventative, you know, to do month off here and there and just pay attention to your drinking habits and why you do it.
Oh man,
really.
I tell you, the past couple of weeks have really sent it home to me that like it is a whole different world when you're dealing with a lot of stresses and you don't have something to distract you to a certain extent. And like I said, I'm not worried about it. It's just very interesting to have so much happen in my life that was just like, whoa. And then on top of it, be taking on a new challenge like this, you know, and a new challenge, a new adventure, a new path.
Yeah. So how have like your husband or your close friends or family, like how have they reacted to you saying, yeah, I'm taking a month off, I'm a weekend?
Super supportive, because I think I'm 35 now. I'm at that age where we've all known, either personally or by extension, somebody who has had addiction issues at this age. You know, when we were younger, it was like whoever could put away the most was the coolest person. Didn't matter if they threw all that shit up everywhere. Whoever could down the Mickey and vodka was like the badass. Now not like that anymore. That person, it's not a good look. It's not a good look to be thought and throw it up. It's just not. So, and we've all been there, don't get me wrong. But I do find that people are way more supportive because they've seen what happens to people who they don't support or who don't admit that they have an issue like that, and how dangerous and deadly it can be for somebody. You know, so I've been given endless support, and I'm really thankful for that. And like I said, now that things have kind of petered out a little bit, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing how I feel kind of settling into the couple of weeks.
Do like a live update like this at the end? Oh no. Let me know when I'm back. There we go. Yeah, we are going to do these updates probably Thursdays, I think.
Yeah.
And we'll do them live.
Yep, that's perfect.
Really. So just Yeah, FYI for anyone watching. Yeah, those are all the questions I have. Oh, other than mocktails, did you have any mocktails yet? And if so, where did you have them?
So I haven't been really going out to eat a lot, but I've been making at home mocktails because I bought
Ooh,
little simple syrupy stuff and everything. I don't want to show you right now because my kitchen's a freaking mess. But one of my favorite drinks was always Mark's. So made some virgin margaritas, and let me tell you, they're almost as good.
awesome. That's okay. They're still good.
No, it's not.
Awesome.
So once again, now that thankfully things have gotten a little more normal, I foresee some going out for some mocktail adventures.
Awesome. Frig yeah. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's
With me this past little while I wasn't quite as active on this as I wanted to be. And thanks for all the, love and the kind messages, man. Like Sober City, you have got some really quality people caring about the work you're doing, following your page, cheering you on. Like just the love I've been getting the last couple of weeks, like honestly, it has meant the world. And that's because of the great community of Sober City, Halifax. So it's really nice to see.
awesome. And yeah, I've met nothing but amazing people that legit, because every Sunday we have like a online meetup where people just join whenever and just talk about sobriety. Legit every couple, like once a month or every 2 months, like all just hearing people like make discoveries about themselves and like talk about it, like I'll get emotional because they're doing so well. It's so cool to see. Even I love it.
I know. Oh, also big shout out. We just got a message from Sexy AF Spirits saying that if I DM them,
Yes.
they'll hook me up with some spirits to help make mocktails.
Oh, that's awesome.
I will be messaging because mocktails, I need them.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I want to try them so bad. So yeah, like
Oh my!
invite me. I haven't tried them.
We do live mocktail making on Thursday.
Maybe. I don't see why not. Can we?
Yeah.
Or like at the end?
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll do a little. We'll each share a mocktail recipe.
Yeah. Okay.
I like how I just throw that stuff at you and you're like, sure.
Sure. I'm down with whatever. It's all good.
Yay. Okay. Yeah. I'll let you go for now, but big shout out to everybody that's been a part of Sober City. Like it's really meant a lot, and thanks to you, of course. You're a great resource, and I'm excited to see where the next few weeks go.
Me too. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining, and thanks, yeah, everyone else for joining. And yeah, I'll be talking.
Yes, talk to you later.
Yay! Oh my god.
Not my strong suit, I'm sorry.